Hey, hello. It is the Go Birds podcast presented by the Bet Parks Casino and Sportsbook app. You love to play. You play to win. You bet.
Bet Parks.
Nailed it. Jinx.
Thank you.
There you go.
Good one.
Now you can't talk for the whole pod.
That would be
you.
I feel like we probably did this before, but it would be a really funny bit if you actually didn't.
I know. Yeah, it'd be great.
You know, it'd be a good debate rule for this pod.
Ooh.
That if me and you are debating and the other person is capable of jinxing the other person,
That they
he
can,
then
and
does
then
have
they
to
win
be
the
quiet
debate.
for a little bit. then there's no more talking. Like if I know you're gonna say Sirianni and I go like Sirianni jinx, then it's my turn. It might get annoying quickly, but I feel like it could potentially be a good debate tactic.
Yeah, it could be annoying. I agree.
Yeah,
How you doing,
funny,
you
annoying.
Right? You look very look good. You look like
Thank you.
Put together today.
Well, I said this on the air, but I got up. I'm telling you, man, going to the gym,
Yeah.
the sauna, the spa. Like it's good for the face. Dressed. Got a acceptable coffee cup that isn't spilling everywhere,
Look at
which is nice. So.
Things are coming up, Elliot.
Everything's just turning around for the positive. You know, the team.
How
to
long
LA.
do you think this morning gym thing's gonna go on? You're like Mr. Gung Ho about it.
I think
I'm
forever,
gonna give
honestly.
it no chance.
I think forever.
I will bet everything that I have that it's not going.
Are you betting against me?
No, yeah, I'm betting against you. Yes, I'm not betting you because then that would give you motivation.
Right.
But I mean, I don't think it'll happen. You love to do things and then stop.
Well, I'm like a month in.
Yeah,
so I'm feeling good about.
I'm gonna say 6 months, and that
I mean 6 months is a long time.
That's what I mean. It might be long.
Yeah. I might change to different parts of the day, but I mean, what's helping is Kristen is doing it. So like it's we both get up thing.
That does make a difference.
Yeah, and I don't know if you know this, but like waking up early once you're in the routine of it, not that bad.
Oh, is that true? Is that so? Really?
Yeah, that 5:45 alarm is.
Yeah. Try setting it 2.5 hours before that. Yeah, a little different.
Yeah.
I'm certainly not going to the gym in the morning. I can tell you that much.
I don't think the gym's open.
It's not.
In your morning.
It's not. But I'm happy you're happy.
Yeah, it's been good. So going to LA in a few days.
Oh, is that why? You got to be looking good, right?
Yeah, exactly. I've been thinking about this game quite a bit. And I mean, I've said it before, but I feel like I'm officially there with it. Like, I think they'll win, but this truly does feel like a more difficult game than maybe we're giving it credit for. I texted you about this, and it seems like you read the line different, but -3 I thought was a little interesting for the Eagles. Like, I don't think it's a, whoa, look at that line, but the Eagles have won 6 straight. They're 8-2. The Rams are.
I would have guessed it would be -3. Like that
I
would have
would
been
thought
right
like
around
4.5, 5.
I think you're giving like across the country, like.
Yeah,
I mean, like that'd be a big road line. Like at 3 points already. Is
well,
the
Eagles are 3 games better than them or whatever.
Yeah, but you're going across country,
right?
Like I don't know.
I just from that line, I feel like they want people to bet the Eagles. I think the general fan sees -3 and goes, "Oh, I'll take the Eagles," and so it feels like a Rams line to me. And I think they'll win the game, but like the Rams do need it a ton. I think the Rams are a little difficult in the way that they haven't had everybody all year, so it's hard to get a read on like how good they actually are. Like Cooper Kupp missed a bunch of time. Puka Nacua missed a bunch of time. Like, I think Cooper's only played in 5 games this year. I meant to look up what the record is.
Puka's played even less.
Yeah, Puka, I think, is even less or around the same.
I have them on a fantasy team, so I know.
So, yeah, you're well aware of his struggles.
Well aware.
It just feels like the Rams are going to be tough. We both believe in the defense, but I also think the defense, there has to be a down game coming eventually. They're not going to give up 15 points over the rest of the season. So, I think they win the game, but I'm a little nervous about this one.
Yeah,
more nervous than most trap games.
Yeah,
I wasn't nervous about the Bengals.
I didn't even think about it as a trap game because the Rams are a pretty solid
That's how you know
team.
it's a trap game.
But I like usually a trap game is against a bad team. You know what I mean?
Rams aren't great though.
But they're in the running for the NFC West,
right?
Like,
because every team's in the running.
I know,
for the
but
NFC
like
West.
I think the Rams. I don't think you look at the Rams with Stafford at quarterback and go, "Oh, we can't. We don't."
No, look, it's not like I'm saying like they're playing the Giants.
That's my point.
Right.
I think that's a classic trap game, but I do think it's an interesting point that it maybe not classic trap game in the sense of a bad team, but that they do have the Ravens coming up after,
Coming
they're coming off
win.
6 straight, the big win. That I do get that it's a down spot potentially, and you do have to go across the country, which matters.
Yeah, it matters. I mean, having flown to Brazil, I feel like across country feels probably like nothing to them, but yes, it is something to consider. Now, having been to LA the last few times they played there, like it'll probably be mostly Eagles fans. It was last year.
Yeah, I don't think the crowd. I think
it's more the travel.
Mm-hmm. It's the travel. And by the way, for those who haven't noticed, for the following week, it actually works out well because the Ravens are playing Monday night in LA against the Chargers.
Oh, are they?
The Ravens actually have a shorter week coming from the West
The
Coast
Rams
back.
play the Ravens play in LA this Monday after the Eagles play their
it's Sunday night. Eagles,
Wow.
Rams, Monday night, Ravens, Chargers.
They
in
can really
LA.
flip that stadium around quick.
How about that though?
Yeah.
But
that's a tough game too.
That's the point. So
Yeah.
I do think in terms of like looking ahead to next week, the Ravens are at a slightly even bigger disadvantage.
Yeah,
Eagles,
no, I would
except
agree
they're
with
home,
that.
So probably
I mean, they don't get home till Tuesday morning instead of Monday morning. I also think that the importance of this game is in the Ravens this year. The game reminds me of the Chiefs last year, when all year I was like, they're definitely losing that one. So don't even like just count it up as a loss. So maybe they will beat the Ravens, just because I'm so sure that they won't. And I feel like everybody I talk to is like, that's going to be a tough one. So maybe they'll surprise people and win that game. The Ravens defense is not that good. I've heard you say that a few times on the air. Like, I think the Eagles actually match up in a weird way with them. Like, I think
two best running teams.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like, I think it'll be close. The Ravens
throwback.
The Ravens are not like blowing people out this year.
Ravens just lost.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a winnable game. But I think if we're going to talk about the 1 seed, now we're going to get into the Lions. But I think the Eagles have one more loss that they can get if they want the 1 seed. I would be pretty surprised
if Detroit loses 3.
If Detroit loses 3 more. Now,
well, one more loss, depending on tie. So that's the interesting thing. Tiebreaker wise, and I just saw this online. This is actually a really important game from a tiebreaker perspective
because it's a common opponent,
Eagles.
right?
Yeah, it's
an NFC opponent.
It's like the way this works out. Like, this is the most important game from a tiebreaker perspective for the Eagles with the Lions,
right?
So I believe that if they lose this game, they can't get it at 14-3. So if they win this game, they still have one loss to play with. Is the idea, and they would obviously need 2 from the Lions in that case, but. So they do. So this is actually an oddly important game for the 1 seed.
Yeah, I agree. Now, I didn't know the tiebreaker aspect of it, but I agree just from like the Steelers game is a tough one. Obviously, the Ravens game is a tough one. You have to go to the Commanders. I think we're all just looking over the Commanders now because Eagles beat them and the division feels like
but they shouldn't.
But it is still a tough game. So I think the Eagles have one more loss they can play with, what you said. I think that you need to hope that you need to count on it being the Ravens game. So you have to win this week. And then, sorry.
So I found the tweet. It's Denise Selman.
Yeah, he's like the king of
phenomenal with this stuff. So the main takeaways, I won't go through the whole thing, but his 2 main takeaways about the Eagles are the only way the Eagles win a 15-2 tiebreaker with Detroit is if Detroit specifically loses to Green Bay. That's the only way that happens.
And that would mean the Eagles have
the Eagles
have to win out. Yeah, exactly.
And then he says losing to the Rams, a common opponent with Detroit, would be devastating.
Yeah.
They would lose the 14-3 tiebreaker and would need Detroit to lose 3 times.
Which is, now I will say Detroit's schedule is not easy.
No.
They have the Packers, they have the Bills, they end with the Niners and the Vikings. I think in a weird way, having them back-to-back weeks hurts the Eagles a little bit, just because I don't think the Lions are going to lose back-to-back games. You never know, but ending the season with 2 straight losses, and I think the Bills are their 4th to final game, so they'd essentially have to lose 3 of 4. You never know, like, if you lose,
Eagles were 10-1,
I mean, if you lose
11-6
if you lose 2 and 3, all of a sudden that final game, like, there's all that pressure. Who knows? But I think with the Eagles have one more loss. Like, I think you could picture the Lions getting to 3 losses.
I don't see the Lions being 13-4. I agree.
Exactly.
They feel like a 14-3 or 15-2 team right now. And again, things can change. People get hurt. Like, anything can happen.
Yeah.
But,
and
if Jared Goff goes down, everything changes.
Yes, 100%. Now, I also think from a home field perspective, like last year, I feel like we had this conversation and ended up obviously not mattering at all because the Eagles completely collapsed. But like, I don't think going to San Francisco is like a really tough place to go play. I know it's across the country, but having been at that stadium, I don't think that's a tough place to play. I do think the idea, if the Eagles enter the playoffs, and look, Detroit could lose their first playoff game, who knows? But with the idea of knowing having to win in Detroit, like, that's a pretty tough game. And I want to compare the Eagles and the Lions in a minute, but I can't remember a year where I thought home field advantage was this big, just because I do think going to Detroit is so much tougher than having them here. I don't know if you've seen the stats, but like, they're going to end up playing, I think, 2 outdoor games this year. The Lions is something absurd like that. Like, obviously they play in a dome. Then there's how the opponents worked out. They've been in a dome, I think, every game besides 1 this year so far. Jared Goff, like, it's funny. You think of Detroit as a good outdoor team, and I think they have those components. They're a tough team. They run the ball. Jared Goff is not a good outdoor quarterback, especially in the cold. He's got the, he's got the little hands. Yeah. So,
and yet they dwarf Kenny Pickett's hands.
Do they?
I assume
Okay,
so.
yeah.
I mean, I know they're bigger.
Well, then hopefully Kenny's not in the game. And but I just think they could go to Detroit and beat the Lions. And I'm officially like I'm over crowning the Lions. I'm over it. Like, yes, if you want to put them number one, whatever.
Well, they're what they
I just don't think
but they are. They're 9-1. It just
I get
record
it.
alone. They are number one.
I get it. I get it. But like
they've been better than the Eagles.
They've been better than the Eagles. I agree.
Like, every way you want to look at it, they deserve. Like I agree.
They deserve to be number one.
I don't think they're unbeatable.
Yeah.
I don't think they're this juggernaut.
Right.
I think people might go too far with that. But I think that it is disingenuous. If you're making a power rankings, the Eagles are 2, the Lions are 1.
I agree with you on that. The Lions should be number 1. I just I think it's 1A, 1B. I don't think it's 1 and 2. I think the Eagles are right.
I think it's 1 and 2, but I think the Eagles are a really strong.
Yeah,
two.
the Eagles are
the Bills and Chiefs. Like, honestly, not sure which way you go.
See, but I would say in that instance, the Chiefs deserve number 1. They're Super Bowl champions.
Yeah, I think the Chiefs are 1 and the Bills are 2. But it's a strong 2.
Yeah. That's where I'm at with it. Like, yes, I think the Lions are a very good team. I think the Eagles are right there with them.
I get it, but you have to. The Lions, I think the Lions are clear 1. Like, it's not 1A, 1B. Like, the Lions have a better record
by one game. It's not like
whatever.
I'm just saying.
This is power rankings.
Like, I agree.
You have
right.
To rank.
Well, we're agreeing they're 1.
So they are 1. They had a better year last year. They're coming off a better finish.
Yep.
They got a coaching staff that's been together for 3 years. Like all this stuff. Like, I just think you have to give the Lions the 1. Like,
we're really
They were better last year, and they've been better this year.
Like, I feel like it's semantics to an extent.
But I don't think it is. I think it's a clear. They're 1, and the Eagles are 2. Like, I think your thing is like 1A, 1B.
I think it's 1A, 1B.
It's not though. That's unfair.
Well, that's how. No, but I don't think it is. Like the Eagles. Yes, I agree. Last year definitely matters when talking about like the Lions have been better for the last 20 games, however you want to say it, 25 games. But the Eagles, like the core we're talking about, have been to a Super Bowl. I mean, I think that also has to matter when you're talking about like what these teams have accomplished as teams. You're right. The Lions, they've had their coaching staff together longer. I think the Eagles have a great coaching staff too.
Again, we're talking about a small margin of error, but I think you have to be real about it and give them the 1 spot right now.
Yes, I'm giving them the 1. I'm giving them the 1.
Yeah, but you're not. You're doing 1A, 1B.
Yeah,
like, they're the 1 and the Eagles are 2. It's okay.
I just don't. I don't feel that way. I understand your point, but what
are you basing it on?
I'm basing it on that
because like
they both have the record,
the wins, like they've looked better as a football team. They've looked better. They've looked better. They beat teams 52-6.
I agree.
Man.
They've looked better.
I agree. The Jaguars 52-6 or whatever. Like, I get it, but you have to be real about it.
But I think I am being real. Like the Lions deserve the 1 spot, but the Eagles' offense is also really good. Their defense is also really good. Their coaching staff.
I agree with all this.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Number 2. Like out of all those other teams,
all right,
number 2.
We'll just concede to number 2. I feel like, and I've been a part of this for the first few weeks. I think there's too much crowning of the Lions. Like they are a great team for sure, but they're not unbeatable. They're not like a level above everybody else. They are another good team, just like the Eagles are a really good team. I think the gap between the Lions and the Eagles is considerably smaller than the gap between the Eagles and whoever you want to put 3.
So the point differential, which isn't everything, but is good.
Look, I agree with you on this. Yeah,
159.
Yep.
For the Lions, 80 for the Eagles.
Right.
They are almost doubling. Like they're 1 point away from being double the point differential of the Eagles.
Right. I mean,
that's not splitting hairs if we're just looking at the numbers.
I agree. Point differential is not like the best.
It's not everything, but it matters. I mean, and especially if it were like 90 to 80, it'd be like, that's
not the Lions have blown people out.
159 to 80.
Right. The Lions have blown people out this year in a way the Eagles have not. No question about it. And like the Lions had 2 really big wins. The one over was it Dallas that they were super smoked, and then they just obviously smoked Jacksonville by a lot. So I would guess
another one. They put up 50 something against the Titans too.
Yeah, so they've had 3 really big wins. Yeah. Again, they're number 1. I think it's 1A, 1B. The resume is 1. I agree, but the actual team, like the Eagles, I think their defense is just as good. I think their offense, I think they're right there with them. I do
too. Again, I agree with you, but they're 1 and 2. Like you could be 2 and be right there with them.
Yeah,
it's disingenuous to be like, they're the same.
I think they are. I think they are mostly the same,
but they're not. They haven't been. The Eagles can.
But what are the Lions? But let me ask you, like, what do you think the Lions are way better at, or like considerably better at than the Eagles?
I think that the Lions' offensive line is slightly better than the Eagles' offensive line. I think the Eagles' running backs, I think the running backs are pretty close, but they have 2 great ones.
They have 2 awesome ones for sure.
I think that
they're close.
Jared Goff is better than Jalen Hurts right now, or has played better this season than Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
I think their coaching staff is better. I like our coaching staff, but I think Ben Johnson's a better schemer than Kellen Moore is. Like, I think as much as I love Sirianni, I think Dan Campbell's a better head coach than Nick Sirianni. So, like, you know what I mean? Like, I think they're better. I think it's small. I think it is a small margin of error, and I think they're really close. That's why I would say Lions 1, Eagles 2.
Yeah.
Which is pretty highly ranked.
Yeah. The Eagles have accomplished more than the Lions.
Not this year.
Not this year. They're one game better this year, for sure. But the Eagles have gone to the Super Bowl. The Lions have not. I know, but I'm just talking about, like, you say Dan Campbell's definitely a better head coach.
I think he's a better. I said I think.
You think he's a better head coach, right? Like the record. I've always thought the record wouldn't bear that out. So,
but I've always thought.
I know.
I thought he was a better head coach than Dan.
I've always also been a big Dan Campbell guy. Trust me. But always, yeah. I'm excited for them to play. Like, I think that's one thing from watching this past Sunday. And look, there's no guarantees what'll happen in the playoffs. The
Lions feels like
the collision course.
Like the class of the NFC. I don't think there's any question that whatever you want to say, and it's 1-2, not 1A, 1B.
Right.
Whatever you want to say, there's a gap after the.
Would you pick the Eagles in Detroit?
I don't know. Probably not.
I guess it's so far. Like, let's say they played this week.
Probably not.
Probably not. Yeah.
I would probably pick Detroit.
I think I'll be curious to know what the line would be. Now, Detroit would be coming off a 52-point win. Or whatever,
I think Detroit would be like a 4.5 or a 5-point favorite.
At home, yeah. We think it would be at the link.
I think Detroit would be like a 1.5 point favorite.
Think the Eagles home underdogs?
Yeah, absolutely.
Probably. Now, in this instance, Eagles are in theory are the higher seed, so maybe we view it differently at that point. But you're right. If they played this week,
I mean, like,
especially with the Lions are coming off.
What were the Eagles favorite over Jacksonville? Like 8.5 or whatever, 7.5, 8.5, something like that.
It was something like that.
9. Yeah. The next week, Detroit was a 13.5 point favorite going into that game against Jacksonville.
Yeah, so it was like 4 points.
So the point being that I think that's what Vegas looks at more or less.
Did they play back-to-back weeks? That's crazy. Am I getting the schedule wrong?
No, I'm right. Yeah, it's just because the Jacksonville game seems so long ago.
Right, because of the Washington game.
Right.
Yeah.
That was the last game before the Washington one, right? Am I missing one?
No.
Dallas.
Oh,
Dallas.
That's what you're forgetting.
Yeah,
okay, yeah. They didn't play home back.
Whatever. Either way, the point being that,
But I think, too, just from, again, watching the games this week, like, I think it's Lions, Eagles, NFC. And I still think it's Chiefs, Bills, AFC. You could debate like Ravens, certainly.
Yeah, and the
Steelers are awesome.
Mention, but I agree. I think those are the top 2.
Yeah.
So I, before the season, predicted a Lions Chiefs Super Bowl, and I feel pretty good about that prediction right now.
Yeah. There's something happening with this Eagles team. And we're not in Detroit. I'm sure you feel that same thing in Detroit.
Well, again, I think the Eagles are the only team in the NFC that I think Detroit should be scared. I could definitely.
What's your fear level of the Vikings?
0. Like, anything can happen. They got Brian Flores, I'm always been a big fan. Like, it feels a lot to me like the 13-4 Vikings team from a couple years ago.
I think I agree with that.
Probably slightly better than that team, but it feels like, I mean, they don't beat teams impressively. Like, it feels like they struggle to win every week.
Get behind Sam Darnold. Maybe if I watch them every game.
I have no problem with Darnold, but again, I'm not scared of the Vikings. Honestly, the Lions are the only team in the NFC that today scares me. Is there a chance that the Niners get
Niners here, I would be a little
I'm not. I think the Niners are cooked. Like, honestly, I think it's season from hell.
They could miss the playoffs.
I think they might. If they don't miss the playoffs, I think they'll be a 7 seed. Something like that. Like, I think the Niners are in a lot of trouble. Maybe they get it together and win the NFC West, but I am not scared of the Niners. The Niners, though, are the only team that I could see getting it together enough to make me scared. I guess the Packers
being the 2 seed and playing the Niners as a 7 seed would be a pretty tough draw.
So right now the 7 seed would be.
Now you would have said the same about the Eagles last year, I guess, though.
I mean, you could also have to play the Packers as a 7 seed. If the Vikings keep winning. So right now the playoff. I mean, Washington. It could be Washington coming in. So right
I wouldn't
now,
be too worried about Washington coming in. To be honest, lack of playoff experience.
I would rather
already
Washington,
beat them here.
Green Bay coming in here.
Yes,
all right.
agreed.
So right now it would be here. Let me pull up the playoff standings. I was going to do off the top of my head, but I may as well just pull it up. All right. So right now, Detroit's the 1 seed. They would get by the Eagles, the 2 seed. They would face Washington.
I think that'd be a win.
Then it'd be Arizona's the 3 seed versus Green Bay is the 6 seed, and then Atlanta versus Minnesota is the 4 5.
Atlanta, Minnesota.
I will say that 5 seed is valuable if you're like getting to play the NFC South team. And really the NFC West team.
I agree.
Honestly, I wouldn't be shocked if the 5 and 6 seed end up winning the game.
Atlanta, Minnesota just screams Saturday 1 o'clock.
That
is like the Saturday 1 o'clock.
Well, one of those will be the Monday night game.
Yeah.
So look, I think
would you rather play the Packers or the Cardinals?
I'd rather play the Cardinals. Took me a second. I'd rather play the Cardinals.
There'd be something a little worrisome about the Cardinals.
Kyler's playing well. I was the one who said to bet on them before the year.
Yeah, you're right. I was actually thinking about that yesterday. Yeah, they were like plus whatever.
I was
now they haven't won it yet, but
frisky.
It certainly is bared out to look like a good bet. I think I'd probably rather play the Packers. You played them before. I think they outplayed the Packers in that game more than we probably give it credit for. Like, Jalen had the 2 turnovers early. I think the defense
I
is
just think the
better
Packers
now.
have more talent, and I
I'd
see
agree
them
with that.
putting it together. You know what I
They have
mean?
more
Like,
talent at receiver.
the Packers
for sure.
did it last year. They were 3-6, and they almost beat the
Yeah.
Niners in San Francisco. Like
Now you'd also get the Cardinals outside in the cold, which I
Mhm.
think is something to consider.
Yeah,
where
the
Green
Cardinals
Bay or
just scare
not.
me less. They
Yeah,
just
that's
do.
probably. I probably would rather play. Now I think about it more.
Yeah, and again, I think the Niners are the only team kind of lurking that. Like,
Yeah.
you never know, but it is honestly. I want to talk about, and I want to get to the Eagles and Lions and really break them down and see if it's 1A, 1B, or 1-2. But I want to talk.
You're not going
about
to change your mind.
the wide open. Oh, no, I'm joking with you. There's
Right,
no
I know.
chance.
Yeah.
The wide openness of the NFC. I want to get to that in a sec. But first, I mean, come on, guys. Mike Quick, Seth Joyner, Jody Mack, Mark Zumoff, Rob Ellis, Joe Conklin, and us.
The Go Birds.
The Go Birds crew. We are the Bet Parks lineup. Bet Parks, the official sportsbook and online casino of the Go Birds pod. It's the only one we use, the only one we recommend. It is awesome. We've been having such a blast. Let me just say it. We're going to wait for the Bet Parks Fix pod, but why do it? We won our parlay again. Like, no big deal. Just out here, like, dishing out winners.
What?
We've won the parlay 5 times.
That's half the year.
It's unbelievable.
It really is.
We've been amazing.
Well, and actually, it's more than half.
Yeah, because we missed the first week.
But I guess it'd be exactly half because there'd been 11 weeks.
So yeah, so we are winning our parlay half the weeks. You would be up so much
and
money.
These
you just hop in and bet with us.
These parlays are not like +1,
+5,
+3, +4. They're always +3. I don't think we've ever done it.
No, we would
loser
do it. Yeah. Have it. Don't be a coward.
And I think we won this one pretty comfortably.
This was I mean,
no, the money line one I think scared us.
The Packers
money line.
Packers money line was scary, but you know what? Hey, sometimes you get some block field goals.
Which, by the way, the Lions have the Bears twice. I think.
But that just shows how locked in we are that we knew to take the money line.
Points. That's a good point.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And we knew the Texans were like, we can lay the points against Dallas. They're a joke.
How much did they end up winning by?
34-10.
Pretty good.
Nice and easy win for the parlay. We are on fire. Come hang with us. Bet with us every weekend. Bet Park presents the double the spread on one select pro football game. You can bet more. By the way, if you had taken this last week, it was Chicago +5.5. It doubled it to 11. You would have won. Easy money.
I mean, like the whole time. Too,
yes, exactly. So check it out. You can see the double the spread on the site. See what game it is for this week. You can bet more than the score. Bet touchdowns, rushing yards, player passing yards, interception, sacks, so much more. Join us on the Bet Park Sportsman online casino app. In addition to betting the games, you can play blackjack, craps, roulette,
baccarat,
online slot games, hot ones like your favorite TV shows, Breaking Bad, Peaky Blinders, and so much more. Enjoy all the action and excitement of casino right at your fingertips. New users, listen to this deal. Download the Bet Parks online casino app right now and get up to $1,000. Yes, up to $1,000 in casino bonus back if you're down in the first 24 hours. Casino bonus must be wagered. See betparks.com for the details. You must be 21 and in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Michigan, Ohio, or Maryland. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Hey, Elliot.
Hello, James.
I've been doing some reading. You know I'm a big reader.
Well, it's funny. You really are.
Like, I actually am an obsessive reader.
Yeah. Now, again, reading on the phone.
Yep. Here we go. Let's pull it up for those on the Kindle app right there, ready to roll.
It's crazy you read. Like, I respect it. It's crazy you're able to read like that.
I feel
like I would be.
I read almost 300 pages yesterday.
300 of those pages?
Of these pages. I mean, it's full page. Like it takes multiple swipes to get through.
Okay, so it's not like
it's like three of these is a page, or 4 of these is a page.
That's a lot of pages.
I don't mess around.
Yeah.
But here's what I was reading about yesterday. According to industry experts, heating costs are going up again this winter. Listen to this, up to 23%, depending on where you live. That's a lot of percentage.
And let me tell you, I'm not looking forward to that, but I do know someone that can help. We know someone that can help. At this point, we all know someone that can help. Window Nation is bringing back. Wow, this is news to me. It's incredible Black Friday offer.
As if they don't already give enough away.
I can't wait to see what it is.
What could it possibly be better?
This is going to be wild, I'm sure. Get 50% off all window styles. That includes bays, bows, double hung, sliders, single hung, picture windows, and more. It's better than I thought it was going to be. I knew it would be good, but that's literally every single type of window, it seems. Well, are there more than bays, bows, double hung, sliders, single hung, picture windows?
Tucker, you're our window expert. Any idea on if there are more than that? No? Okay. That's it.
It'd be a tough one to go with the single.
I'm a big double hung.
Yeah, I feel like if you're gonna have to order that, just say I'll go with the double.
Yeah. I'm a Bose guy too, But here's the thing. Cool. Here's the thing, Elliot. You can pay nothing until 2025. Pay no interest. Get ready. You're not gonna believe this when I say this. For 5 full years.
Like that's longer than it used to be.
And through the end of the month. It is longer. It's insane. You receive plus that in addition, like no big deal, an additional 10% discount. And get your windows installed by Window Nation one day or less. Unbelievable.
Get top-tier windows from Window Nation at a fraction of the cost of other big names, but hurry up. The sale ends December 1st, which is almost right around the corner.
Yeah, buddy.
Like
get on
2 weeks probably. So act now before this offer ends.
Yeah. Window Nation. Visit windownation.com to get 50% off all window styles plus 0% interest for 5 full years and take an additional 10% off of their Black Friday special. Schedule your fast InnoMax Cement right now at 8669Nation or windownation.com. We know Allie texted me.
I saw the picture.
Windows. So cool.
Yeah,
Amazing
I saw the picture
stuff
on Twitter. Looked very cool.
Shout out to Window Nation. Shout out to Allie. Tell them
Gobert sent you. It's crazy Thanksgiving's next week, right?
Dude.
I'm correct about that, right? Like a week from Thursday.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, it is. How about this? Think about it this way. A week from Saturday, we're going to be driving down to Baltimore.
I know.
How about that?
I'm very excited. Well, I was thinking, and we'll say it now, but we should also, we do need to get something together.
Agreed.
So we know.
Yeah.
So, how about this? If you are coming on the Go-Birds trip, email Tucker. No. DM the Go-Birds Twitter account.
Yes.
Good
idea.
Because it would suck to go and then we don't hang out.
Yeah.
And so
we want to see you. That's we're going to hang out with you.
And we'll probably
I like to watch games at my home where I'm locked in with the announcers and I talk about it in the air. I'm going to this game to hang out with people, then to watch the Eagles. The Eagles are secondary to hanging out with everyone.
But the game itself, awesome
Fire,
game.
Man.
What
a game
it ended up, I think we knew going in it would be an awesome game, but it's exceeded, especially if they both win next week.
Oh, buddy.
Yeah.
Exciting.
Acceptable loss game?
No. Don't do that.
I don't have to think about it.
No,
I'm close to it.
Stop.
I think it's one of those games where if they lose 27-24 and they play well,
no.
I guess this time of the year it's tough to have any acceptable
Aren't we
loss.
past the acceptable
I'm
loss?
definitely not.
You're talking Super Bowl.
Well, and you know that's where I'm at with it.
I know. So I'm going to have an acceptable loss. Win out.
Well, you don't have to win every game to win.
How important the 1 seed is. Win the hell out.
Oh, look.
They
could beat Baltimore. I agree.
Can you imagine if they went 15-2 and won? Would it be 13 straight to end the season?
Yeah, that'd be wild.
That would be.
Now, would you think
not going to count on it?
Do you think you'd get at a point where you'd almost hope they'd lose one?
Maybe. Probably not. Only if we're undefeated. If we're undefeated, it's like, come on.
Yeah, the Chiefs losing
was good.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, you would rather not lose to the.
I think if the Chiefs made it
top competing with for the 1 seed, that was probably if they could have lost to the Broncos the week before, I think they would have chosen that. Whatever, but
I also think the Chiefs, if the Chiefs and the Eagles made it to the Super Bowl and the Chiefs were undefeated, I think there'd be more likely the NFL would try to screw the Eagles and make sure they're undefeated. You want to go conspiracy theory? I think that
you took it there.
Yeah, I think you're more likely to lose to the Chiefs if they were undefeated.
Can we stop with the 72 Dolphins and the champagne?
I 100% agree.
Enough already. Everyone who's
first of all,
never even heard of these people. They have no idea who they are.
Also, what the Patriots did was more impressive. I'm sorry. The Patriots won more games and went undefeated. They went more consecutive games undefeated. I also think it's very look at me, Louie. We get it. Let someone else do it. Let someone else
exactly be like, 72 Dolphins.
What's this guy's name? Larry Conca?
Larry Zonka.
Yeah,
Larry Conca.
He needs to relax a little. First of all, he's made it all about him. It's not about the team.
Well, it's because everyone else died.
All right, that's
it's like Mercury Morris, and he died.
I feel like it's always been about him, but yeah.
Right. I'm with you though.
I'm over it.
I think that's fair. I think you should be over it.
Yeah.
That's why I said I'm over it. So if I'm over it,
Well, we all remember when the Eagles went into Miami, undefeated joint practice record and lost.
Oh, so you're right. Yeah,
there is that rivalry as well.
Yeah, you're right. If everyone was going to crack champagne,
let me ask you something. All right, what? I know you're not there with me yet. And look, if they lose to the Lions in the NFC Championship, I'm not going to go on here and rip them. But where are you at with what your level of tolerance would be for a non-Super Bowl victory? I know you're going to be disappointed when they lose. We get that, right? But just where you can look at it and go, it was a good year. How far?
I think if they get to the NFC Championship game, I'll say that was a really good
You'll feel good about it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
so,
yeah. Remember, before the season, I think we both said if they win a playoff game, it'd be a great year.
Yeah.
Considering what last year was to bounce back and win a playoff game, wow, that'd be a pretty cool achievement.
So
I think it's gone a little further, but if they get to the NFC Championship game, I'm not gonna rip this.
So I feel
obviously I always want to win, and for me it's Super Bowl bust every year of my life. The whole I need some freaking championships.
It feels like we're reversing.
I know it's
roles
weird.
here. I feel like I'm talking to Elliot.
I know it's very
as
strange.
James,
but strange.
I get that logic. I think that is the good logic. I think you're correct. If they lose a close game to the Lions and NFC Championship game in Detroit.
And
like
we came into the year with
I
the
agree.
quarterback and the coach on the hot seat.
Even if they go to the Super Bowl and lose to the Bills.
Yeah, well, obviously, if I'd say they're losing the NFC Championship game.
Yeah, but here's my thing that I think I feel more than...
I'd almost rather they lose in the NFC Championship game than lose another.
I wouldn't. I think it'd be fun to go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I know.
But, like, I understand, and I think back to the Drew vital things. Like, you figured out this year the vitals are strong, right? And I think the Eagles will have a chance to win the Super Bowl next year. But we also have to think, cores only get so many shots realistically, right? Like, the Patriots got a ton of shots. The Chiefs have gotten a ton of shots. But, like, the Niners have been inconsistent. The Lions had their shot last year. They'll have their shot this year. If they don't win the Super Bowl this year, they could win it next year. But, like, you're getting a healthy, awesome Saquon season. You're getting a defense that maybe is not playing above its head, but is certainly way better than we all thought. You're not getting, like, the schedule ended up being somewhat favorable. I just think it would be a blown chance. Like, and not to bring,
they're all blown.
Not to bring the
2022
Sixers
was the all-time blown chance.
Not to bring the Sixers into this, but with 2022,
the Sixers are nothing like.
Well, no,
but aren't even a part of this conversation.
Well, my comparison to the Sixers would be, we could debate how much of a chance they had, but they went up. They, like, had the pinnacle where they had, like, a chance, then another chance, and they blew it. And now you're seeing it fall apart, right?
I don't think they ever really had a chance.
Well, that's
in reality.
We can debate that another time.
In reality, they never got the.
Well, they were the 1 seed.
Playoffs.
I mean, yeah, like they were top 5 favorites to win the title going into the playoffs a few times. But that's regardless. What I'm saying is, if they don't get it done this year, I don't know what the accomplishment is.
Defense in football.
Yeah, but when they went in 2022,
the accomplishment was that you went from your coach almost being fired and your quarterback, everyone saying, like, he's not the guy. He has to do these big things to change everything, to almost getting to the Super Bowl. Like, it'd be a massive.
But I think they've been there before. Like, in 2022, we
but
felt.
Again, he almost got fired.
I know he did. People
but, like, wanted him gone after the 4th game of the season, after the 5th game of the season.
I just think when
gotta win the Super Bowl or else it's a disaster.
When seasons end, like, there's 2 ways to feel. Either, like, 1, we're building towards something, or 2, like,
I think they would be building.
And I don't know if it feels like they're.
Oh, I absolutely do.
But they're already. Yeah, I don't know.
Back. Like, I think they went to the Super Bowl. They had a
that
lull
was
and then they come back.
2022 though. Like, I've ended a season with the Super Bowl loss where I could go, you know what, they'll be back, or you know what, they're gonna be really good. Like, I don't know if I'll feel that again. Like, I don't think you would call the season a disappointment in the way that, like, that was, like, 2023. And you can certainly look at the NFC Championship game if they lose it to Detroit and go, you know what, like, they played a great team, they played well, it is what it is. I just, like, you only get so many swings, and they've already gotten three or 4 years
of our lives. Like, I mean, when you're a good team, like,
but it's different when you haven't been to the Super Bowl. They have been there.
Nah, I get. Look, I think 2022 was a lot more they had to win that year than they did. Like, 2022 is one of the biggest missed opportunities of my lifetime.
Maybe, yeah.
Like, I think that was as close.
But since it was their first year up, that
doesn't matter to me.
Well, no, I know, but I'm saying, to me, that one felt like more like the Eagles losing to the Rams in that first NFC Championship game, where it was. They were better than that Eagles team, so I think.
Then they also lost 2 more championship games before they even got to the Super Bowl.
Right.
But my point being that they could lose it this year and still next year and the next year. Like, if you're
never
using that
won
analogy,
but they did never win it.
Of course they didn't. But again, no one thought the Rams year was their best chance.
No,
and I mean, then that next year, the Carolina year, that was
the Rams year. The Rams year to me,
Bay.
The Rams year to me felt like the Eagles Chiefs Super Bowl in the way that it was, you know what? Like, this is the beginning of something.
So you and I felt completely different.
I know, yeah.
The Eagles Chiefs Super Bowl, the Eagles were the better team and they show in the Super Bowl. That's where we disagree.
Right.
I felt a lot more they had to win it in 2022 than I do this.
And I didn't. Like,
I know, but that's where, so, like, there you go.
But this year I do feel more on that side.
Like, I felt like 2022 was a must-win Super Bowl. Like, this year it's like, sure, that'd be cool. Like, obviously, I'd be excited, but my point is, like, I'm not expecting it. I've not expected it any point.
But they're getting, like, an all-time Saquon season.
In 2022, they were one of the best teams we've ever had. Like, 2022, they blew it. Like, that was their Super Bowl to win, and they lost.
But this team might be better. Like,
I don't think it is.
You don't think the defense is better?
I think
you think the 2022 defense was better than this?
Yes.
Wow.
I mean,
you say it so definitively.
I think they're more talented. I don't know if they're better. This defense might end up
being
better.
I think this defense is better.
We need more results. But the Eagles as a team, I'm saying in 2022, I think we're a better football team than this year. That's what I'm trying to say.
Probably. Now they have Saquon this year.
They could turn into they could get there, but I don't think this team right now at 8-2 is as great as that 2022 team.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm at a place where, like, I need the Super Bowl. Like
well, good. Welcome aboard.
No, I know,
right? The entirety of this podcast,
right?
Like I think every
but
year,
it's just interesting you're not
every
on that
year
side.
that I go without a Super Bowl win is a failure in my life. But I'm just saying, in terms of the way you're framing it, like I don't look at this team and say like they would be a disappointment if they don't win the Super Bowl. I always want them to win the Super Bowl.
I think there'd be positives to point out, but I don't think overall I'd leave the year feeling like they took a step.
Yeah,
like it doesn't feel like a step.
Crazy. The head coach almost got fired. I mean,
well,
how
but
is that not a step?
But their over under was still what 10.5, and like they were probably top 7 when the Super Bowl was
9.5, and they were not top. They were lower than that.
I don't think they were 7th to win. I don't remember.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure it up going in, but
they were 7th in Super Bowl odds.
7th, right?
Yeah,
that's
plus
what I was
1,400.
Yeah. So out right on the edge there, but they weren't top 5, but they weren't outside the top 10.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. I mean, look, it could play out a number of different ways. They're good. Like the defense is good.
They're really good.
Healthy. Like
again, I feel I don't.
There's no juggernaut. The Lions are good.
In 2022, I thought the Eagles were the best team in football.
Right.
I think the Lions are the best team in football right now. Now the Eagles could pass them.
Yeah.
But in 2022, I thought the Eagles were the best team in football. Bullet. End of discussion period. And I thought it for the entire season.
Yeah.
Like this year, at no point yet have I thought they were the best team in football. I think they can get there, but I still think the Lions are like. I think if you're a Lions fan, I would be saying you have to win the Super Bowl this year. You know what I mean?
I would mostly agree with that. This comes down to our difference in opinion. I think the Lions are a tough team, but I don't view it as like Patrick Mahomes standing in the way. You know, like now in the Super Bowl, he could be, but I don't view it as Patrick Mahomes. Like the path is there. Now the going to Detroit would be tough.
The path is there. Yeah. All right, let's get into the Eagles and the Lions of it all because we gotta get out of here soon.
I feel like we did that.
Well, I mean, just like to round it out. So yeah, we pretty much have done it. I was gonna say in terms of like.
Well, look, honestly, like I think they're basically even, and I know you don't, but I'm just talking about position by position right now. Like, I think the Eagles maybe have a better defensive line. I'd have to look, and they don't have Aiden Hutchinson anymore. The Eagles secondary, I think, is up there with the best in the NFL. The Eagles linebackers are playing out of control. The Detroit defense is very good. Don't get me wrong, but like
I think the Eagles defense is better than the Lions defense. I think the Lions offense is better.
I think the main difference,
unequivocally, the Lions offense has been better.
Yeah,
like, forget the pieces, and even then, they might have more talented pieces. They might be the one team.
Debatable. See, I would definitely take the Eagles receivers over.
I would take
Lions.
the group, but I think Amon-Ra is as good as AJ. Like I think they're both, like top 5.
Yeah, I think AJ's better, but it's AJ's not an
slightly better. But my point is they're similar. Like they're close enough where it's the same thing.
I think the major difference.
And I think but you want to say Devontae's better than their number 2. That's fine. But like Jahmyr Gibbs or Dave Montgomery, whichever you want to say, is so much better than our number 2 back.
Now, but would you pick to have Saquon or both of them?
I'd probably pick Gibbs and Montgomery.
Just because there's 2?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess from a health perspective.
And a dynamic perspective and all. Like, I think it gives you 2 different things. They're both great. Like,
yeah.
But, I mean, I get it. I don't think it's a huge difference. It's just you have 2 guys.
I think the major difference for me between the 2 teams is it seems like the Lions can really pass the ball.
And that's what I was about to say. I think Goff and I think Hurts, I've been less down on Hurts than you have, and I think Hurts has improved. I think he's played better the last couple games than you do. But I mean, Jared Goff is absolutely playing better. Like, there's no argument.
Yeah, I mean, he did have the 5 interception game.
Outside of that one game, he has been better.
Yeah.
He just threw for 450 and 4
touchdowns. I'll be curious to see if they can get him outside. Like, I think if the game's in Philly, you could convince me the Eagles have the quarterback advantage going into that game. But if it's in the Dome, I think they would have the better quarterback. So, again, it's kind of parsing words what we started with. But, like, I view it 1A, 1B. You view it 1-2.
And again, I think
the Eagles roster is probably better.
I think one thing that they have going for them, forgetting the Lions, is that the rest of the NFC is pretty bad. Like, when you think about, we were talking about before, I mean, even just record-wise.
The Packers are the only other team that I think you look at.
Record-wise, the Eagles are 2 games up on the 3 seed. You know what I mean? Like, they are firmly in the 2 spot from a record perspective, because considering the fact that the other 2 teams that have good records and the Vikings and the Packers have to compete for the division, like the 3 best records in the NFC.
They've also
the 4 best records in the NFC are 1 NFC East team and 3 NFC South or North teams.
What's funny is I was gonna say they've kind of lucked out with like the division.
Really throw it way back. Wow. Yeah, I almost said
it is crazy. The Eagles used to be in the same division as the Cardinals. That is wild, like just geographically.
Yeah,
but
it was insane. I mean, Dallas is in the division.
It's wild how long. Yeah, it's true. It's wild how many years in a row the Eagles have had 2 dumpster fires in their division. Now this year,
yes, you're right. If it was, but in Washington, the Giants,
they've never really had a division that's super competitive.
But it's like, imagine
it was the one year the
like
Giants
the Patriots thing.
Okay.
They had 3 for the vast majority.
Yeah,
it does help.
By the way, Daniel Jones, Eagles quarterback.
How about it?
Back up next
you
year.
could see that. How
Mile
about,
away.
did anyone else know that him and Saquon are best friends?
Yeah.
That don't caught me off guard.
Oh, you being? Oh,
you didn't see the Diana Rossini tweet? She was like,
"No, I knew they were. I thought you're.
Know,
that's part of the reason. Yeah,
I had
they're like
no
super
idea.
tight.
See, I know that's what
Saquon's
I'm
like a big time.
How
Daniel
did you know
Jones.
this? I didn't know. Is this like a commonly known thing?
I follow a lot of
Giants
writers.
Okay, so you don't.
Yeah.
When it was in that tweet, I was like, he's best friends with Daniel Jones.
Yeah, they're like silly tight.
I had no idea.
Which is, I think it.
Yeah, it makes a ton of sense.
Yeah, like Saquon will vouch for him. Now, I think the difference
he can run.
Daniel Jones will probably get a chance to compete.
I don't know.
Maybe. It's tough. There's not as many quarterback jobs open.
And also, look, with the Darnold thing, I mean, these guys were high picks.
Yeah.
There's always
the tougher thing is Kenny, but I think they'll just trade Kenny.
Kenny stinks.
I don't think he'll be here next year, is my prediction.
Kenny factors into the plans 0.
Yeah, I mean, he's a cheap backup.
He stinks.
I'd be a little surprised if they didn't go with Tanner. That'd be like 3 straight years of passing on him.
Yeah, but Tanner, he's a 5th-round pick.
No, I know, but everyone seems to like him a lot.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. It's an interesting thing, but I do think the NFC overall does play into the Eagles' favor in terms of,
That's why.
But I do think it could be tough. I mean, they could go 14-3 and not get the 1 seed, which would be rough.
It's the Lions being great is really hurting them.
Yeah. All right, let's get to final thoughts.
All right. Okay. You know what's crazy to think about? This is either going to be really interesting or just very dumb.
The classic Eliot.
Yeah. So the 4 biggest sports in the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
Football, basketball, baseball, and soccer. Like hockey is just not a 4th big. Like the 4 biggest sports in the world all use time differently.
So
soccer, there's like, it's a running clock.
Yep.
Basketball, super, super strict. Once the clock hits 0, you're done.
Mm-hmm.
Baseball, no clock other than the pitch clock, but really no clock. And
football, you can the most similar.
Football, you can go past the 0.
You can go past the 0. That's the only real difference between football and basketball.
Yeah. It's just crazy to think the 4 biggest sports all use time. They're not one of them is similar.
Mm-hmm.
Now, hockey would be the one that's closest to basketball, right? Because they actually
more or less exactly the same.
Yeah, I think it actually is exactly. Now the timing is different in terms of 2020.
Right, but yeah, how they use it.
Yeah,
that would be
I was thinking about that. Yeah. All different. What do you think's the best version of time?
Baseball. I mean,
no time.
Yeah, no time. That you it could end when it ends. Like you don't know that it could go forever if it wanted to.
That'd be tough with basketball, soccer, and
now
soccer can. I guess in theory, all of them could go on forever with overtime in a playoff game, not in a regular season game.
True.
Basketball could go forever in regular season. Football could not, and soccer can't
because they do stupid.
Yeah, they do. Well, I like the. I mean, they're exciting.
I hate you,
they're just exciting. I get the.
They're exciting, but
I get
it's
an unfair way. Yeah.
All right. I will go. I have a really funny Zoe thing. All right, I'll go with a light final thought and a Zoe thing, and then I'll give a better final thought on tomorrow's pod. Right. Light final thought. I think my favorite meme now that I'm the age that I'm at or whatever. The Liz Lemon. I don't know if you watch 30 Rock or not, but Tina Fey.
Yeah.
The
at night.
It's so great.
It is.
It's so good. Whenever it's like 10:30 at night.
Yeah.
I feel it so much. Like it just.
Well, because you have to wake up early.
Yes. Yeah. I feel it. I really feel it.
Yeah. It's a good one. I agree.
Very good.
30 Rock. Would you say underrated or appropriately
underrated?
Rated? Underrated.
I think online it's appropriately rated. Like people online, like there's enough of a group of people who get it. But I think in general, I mean, it's one of the funniest shows ever. And we don't talk
because I kind of think Parks and Rec is
similar.
So I like it better, but I understand. Rated. I think Parks and Rec gets more credit
without a doubt. Way more.
When 30 Rock, I mean,
it's right there.
Yeah.
I like Parks and Rec better too, but 30 Rock's arguably funnier. Like I just like Parks.
Would you say those two and Seinfeld? I'm trying to think. Well, no, because you're gonna bring up like Cheers and all that. But like, I'm trying to think.
I'm not Jody Cameron. I wasn't.
I'm just trying to think of.
I don't think Cheers is as good as they. Like I get.
Would you say those are the top 3 half-hour sitcoms?
Well,
Seinfeld's obviously number 1.
So I mean, I like it. Are you including cartoons? Like I'm a big South Park.
No, I'm not including. Cartoons, it's a different playing field. Like the actors don't get old.
I think Cheers, like people would include Cheers.
Right.
For me personally, it's not my favorite.
I
wouldn't.
I
think it would be considered one of.
I think we're doing a Mount Rushmore.
I mean, if it was a Mount Rushmore, it would be on there. I mean, that 50 million people used to watch it.
All right, that's what I'm saying. All right, so Cheers. Seinfeld, Cheers. Let's just do Mount Rushmore.
Then we have to put like I Love Lucy on it or whatever. You know what I mean? Like or the Honeymooners or some of that crap. You know what I mean? Like we could do a modern Mount Rushmore and just say for our purposes, our lifetime.
So it sounded like 30 Rock and Parks and Rec won't be on.
No, I don't think.
Yeah, all right, that's fair. I'll just
The Office probably be on ahead of it.
The Office, I agree, would probably be on ahead of it.
So anyway,
Curb, is a half hour.
Maybe. I mean,
Now it's
Kurt's
HBO.
great. Yeah, it's not a sitcom.
I agree.
exactly.
I agree.
All right. So we've talked about bat facts, and so he's obsessed.
We have.
I'm obsessed. They're learning about bats, and you learn about like she knows what a mammal is, unlike Joe DeCamera. Pretty impressive.
Good information to have.
Yeah. But she couldn't remember. She was telling us some bat facts, and she couldn't remember the littlest bat. So I looked it up. And I'm like, oh, it's a bumblebee bat, and she goes, I knew that. I just forgot. Classic Zoe.
Classic
like,
Elliot.
What do you mean, classic Zoe? Like, who talks like that? You're 6.
Can I drop a quick mammal?
Classic Zoe.
Quick mammal thought for you?
Sure. Yeah, I love it.
I think if you live in the ocean, you're not a mammal.
Wow, shots at whales, huh?
And sea lions potentially. I don't think they live in the ocean. Maybe
dolphins, mammals, right?
Yeah.
Like whales.
There's a type of whale that's a mammal,
let's
right?
just
One
like
of them,
I think all whales are mammals.
all whales.
Yeah,
Okay,
all
so
whales
I
are
was
mammals.
first.
Yeah.
Okay,
They have eyelashes.
is that,
I don't think that's the reason they're mammals.
Yeah, because you have to have hair to be a mammal, and that's the hair on a whale.
Look, I'm not disputing it. That's an extremely dumb.
Well, the mammal you have to give birth to live.
Yeah,
young.
I think there's a bunch of little things. I don't think
three.
it's
Give
eyelashes.
birth to live young. And there's 2 others.
Can you imagine if the real distinguishing factor between mammals and everything else was eyelashes?
I have beautiful eyelashes.
I would agree.
I really do.
I sometimes
Emily always says she wishes she had my eyelashes.
I sometimes think like
when
eyelashes.
we had Zoe, we were like, we want her to have my eyelashes.
I've never looked at them. It's hard to look at eyelashes. Yeah, I would say you have textbook eyelashes.
I normally would not. But I've had so many people in my life tell me
That's
that.
wild.
It's so weird. It's the weirdest thing.
That is, especially because like
so many
it's
times
not like they're like
"Wow, you have
super
great-"
long.
Like
or-
women will say to me, "Oh, I have great eyelashes." I'm like, cool.
Wow.
Yeah, so
Look at
now,
you.
Now I say it. Now
Yeah.
I say I got great eyelashes.
Yeah. Did you look it up?
Oh, they're mammals because they produce their own milk.
There you go. That was the other one. Produce your own milk.
Whales produce milk.
I guess
They have
so.
inner ears, they breathe air, and they produce their own milk.
Wow,
There you go.
that's gross.
That is pretty gross.
A nice gallon of whale milk.
Gotta be tough
another
to
reason for you
drink
to be
whale
even
milk.
more scared.
Well, I'm saying like,
Whale.
how do you think the kids drink the whale milk? I guess the same way you drink any milk.
They're
but
probably just used to it.
I just feel like in water it'd be tougher to drink that.
Nipples.
No, I know, but I'm saying like outside of water, there's not like
I get it. Suction. and
yeah,
Air.
they're fish. Like let's just be intellectually honest.
Good
here.
take here. I like
You
this.
live in the water, you're a fish.
What
Why
about if you're
confuse people?
amphibious?
Which give me an example.
Well, amphibious means land and water.
Well, I'm saying so like
Well, there's
I'll make a distinction.
like
off that.
lizards or a bunch of
Frogs.
lizards, frogs, like things
Frogs.
like that. Yeah.
In,
Well, frogs are
Frogs-
reptiles. So they wouldn't be a
yeah, they
mammal
don't
No,
live
anyway.
in-
frogs are amphibians.
They
but
are.
they don't
I know,
live
I'm
in
saying,
water.
Yeah.
also amphibians, like pick a side. Like what are we doing here?
Like sea turtles or turtles in general.
Sure. There you go. Pick a
Uh,
side. I like this. Pick a side.
Sea turtles, do they live in water?
They're sea turtles.
But do they live there?
Sea.
Like do they sleep in the water?
I don't know. Man.
Okay, I'm just curious. Something to think about. That's all I'm saying.
This is good. All right, we're out of here. We'll be back tomorrow with the Bet Parks Picks Pod. Anything
Yeah.
else? That's
Let
it.
me go, Bird.
You're going to
Saturday.
LA
Yeah, I'm going
soon?
to LA.
Oh, so are you hanging out at the airport Saturday morning?
Yes, but I don't know the details.
Okay, well, come see LA.
I mean, I'll see you if you're on the Fans of Philly trip going to LA. I'll see you
There
at
it
the
is.
game.
All right, we'll be
Come to
back
Chickies and Pete's. I think there's free Bud Light. I think that's-
tomorrow. Coming out Chicken Pete's. We'll be there.
Yes, all day.
Hanging out. Yeah. All right. That's it.
Until then.
He's William James.